Well, hey, welcome back, friends. Wow, here we are on episode number 6 of the Change Chasers podcast. And so, as you can hear, I have added a new intro song. And so, hopefully, I have done so successfully, and you'll be able to get to enjoy that when you join me for future episodes. And so, I'm Mandy, and I'm having a fun time hosting this thing. And hopefully, I am adding some value to your life and to your day, and that in this short time that we'll be together today, I pray that it will be a word for you and whatever it is that you need to hear. And so, with saying that, y'all, today we're diving into a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to guess that most likely yours as well. And so, we're going to be diving into one of the most powerful forces in life: hope. I also believe that hope is one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves. And I will tell y'all straight up that I struggle to decide what to call this episode. I was trying to decide, should it be called Steady in Hope, or Hope Holds Strong, right? Or Hope is the anchor for your soul, or even to make it a little bit of fun time, fun country here, Enneagram number 7, saying hope is dope. Like, let's go, right? And throwing in something about hope ain't no joke, or I don't know. But anyway, no matter what I call it, one thing for certain is that hope is powerful. And today we're going to be looking into why it matters. Hope is often described as the anchor for our souls, keeping us steady even when life feels chaotic. In a world full of uncertainty, and holding on to hope can feel challenging at times, right? But holding on isn't just wishful thinking, it's a confident expectation in what's to come. And so, in the last episode of this podcast, we discussed day one, or one day, with the theme of the power to start today. So, y'all, I feel like flowing into the topic of having hope is a great next level way to grow as we go. So, in this episode, we'll explore what hope is, why it's essential, and how to cultivate it, even during the hardest seasons of life. So, that leads me to hot take number 1. What is hope? And so, thinking about what is hope, I believe that hope is more than optimism, because optimism says things might get better, but hope says, I believe something better is coming no matter what. The Bible, that's where I draw so much of my hope and my source of strength as a woman of faith. I know that the Bible defines hope as a confident expectation based on God's promises. It tells us in Hebrews chapter 6, verse 19, that we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. And so when I stop and I think about what is the actual use of an anchor, the tangible use for that is that an anchor is what keeps a ship or a boat steady, right, during a storm, or even if you're out fishing in the middle of the lake or the ocean or wherever, you drop anchor. So then that way you do not drift into an area that you do not desire to go. And so when I stop and I think about the gift that's what hope does, the same for us. It keeps us from drifting into areas that we do not want to go. Hope keeps us grounded no matter how strong the winds of life and the storms that come in life that they may come and blow. Some of us, I know that, man, you're listening and you're like, girl, you have no idea. I have weathered so many storms in life, figuratively, right? Going through some really tough hardships. And so I will say that I'm really sorry if you've been through a lot of tough stuff. I know that going through hardships is never easy. But that I will also say that I'm 100% certain that you will cling to the idea of having hope more so than someone who hasn't went through some tough stuff or had to overcome a lot of adversity. And so you might really enjoy this episode and be able to encourage others as well with being a man or a woman who is living in hope or living in resilience. And so, with that, it takes me to hot take number 2. Why do we need hope? Hope, y'all, isn't just a nice idea. I mean, it's a pretty good idea, though, right? I mean, but real talk is that it's not just a nice idea, it's essential to our well being. And so, in that, I think about hope fuels resilience. When we have hope, we can endure difficult times because we believe that things will improve, right? And then I also think that hope inspires action. Hope isn't passive. Hope motivates us to take steps toward a better future, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. And I also really love how hope restores joy. So even in the darkest of seasons, hope brings light and joy, reminding us that, hey, you know what? The story, our story, isn't over. So, with thinking about cultivating a mindset of having hope, it leads me to hot take number 3, which is cultivating hope in challenging times. And so, we all face seasons when hope feels daunting, even to maintain, right? It may feel distant at times, especially in the times of loss and grief and times of uncertainty or setbacks. So, when I stop and I'm thinking about what are some stuff we can allow our minds to just stop and thinking about throughout this podcast is how do we hold on to hope, right? When life gets hard. And so my number one thing that I do is that I look to God's promises. I have to just believe in the truth that His word is, oh my goodness, that is what I need to cling to. His scripture says that He is the vine. I'm the branches. Apart from Him, I can do nothing. And so being biblically rooted in hope allows me to be able to be rooted in God's unchanging character and His promises. Scripture reminds us that God works all things for His good in Romans 8:28. And then it also reminds us that God has good plans for us and that He has the well-being of our hearts, our futures, and no harm, right? It reminds us that in Jeremiah. And so a practical tip that I think about is the encouragement and for you guys, and I'm doing these things for my own as well as I prepare this content. This is all really real and relevant for me too, is that how about we write down a few verses about hope and read them daily, right? To be able to let them remind you that your circumstances don't define your future. God does. So my next point is that I want to say shift your perspective. So instead of focusing on what's wrong, focus on what's possible. Hope isn't about ignoring reality, but it's about choosing to see the potential for growth and healing. And so I'm thinking, man, a point that will make us all stop and go, is to think about this. I don't know where you live, but I live in Georgia and it is starting to be garden season. And that means that it's time for everybody to plant their crops and get ready for everything to grow and then to get to harvest in the coming months for the preparation of the work that we put in, right? And so when I think about gardening and I think about the process is that it all starts with a seed being buried in the soil. And so it looks like nothing is happening, but underneath, growth is taking place. And so, y'all, when I stop and I think about the gift and the joy of the tangible way of being able to view that, I think that's how hope works, right? Hope grows in the unseen. And so, a way that I think we can allow ourselves to be sharpened well, to grow well, and to navigate life well and much more easily is that if we surround ourselves with hopeful people, then y'all, we can go a whole lot further in life, right? Our days can feel a little bit lighter and brighter depending on who we are allowing to speak into our lives, who we are giving our time. And so when I stop and I think about this, I think, man, your community matters. Spend time with people who encourage you, who remind you of truth and help you to see the bigger picture, and that hope doesn't have to be daunting, that hope gets to be a process in which we are believing in a great outcome, right? And what is coming. But our community really does matter. And so, my encouragement, maybe my challenge to you is be careful who you are allowing to speak into your life, so that way you are not giving power to someone that isn't speaking words of life, affirmation, love, and truth. Or, as in the friendship episode that I did earlier, where my friend Jana says that you are seen, you are valued, you are loved, and you are heard. Those are positive words of affirmation and truth that I hope that you will embrace to be able to kind of help you as far as, you got hopeful people around you, or are you giving power to hateful people around you because community matters? But also, in thinking about this, there's an awesome quote that I believe that it helps us with catching hope. I mean, sometimes we need to catch hope. Anybody else? Like, yeah, I sure enough do. I need to catch me a double dose of hope right now. And so I love this quote. It says, "Hope is contagious. When you surround yourself with hopeful people, you can't help but catch some of it." Y'all, isn't that one thing that we definitely want to be contagious? I mean, yes, please. I mean, we want to be around hope and life giving people, hopeful people, right? Not hateful people. And I'll say, like, sign me up for an extra dose of hopeful people, just like I want you to sign me up always for extra fries, right? I mean, come on, fries before guys. That's one of my sayings in life. But in all seriousness, I love the idea that hope is contagious. Hope is contagious when you surround yourself with hopeful people. You can't help but to catch some of it. And then also thinking about, how do we continue to move forward? How do we continue to be a change chaser? How do we continue to have a mindset of hope and gratitude and having that attitude of gratitude? I love that little expression is, y'all, sometimes we just got to take small steps forward. We got to keep moving in a forward motion, right? Because sometimes hope is found in action. So even small steps toward your goals can reignite hope. Or, as my mentor says, just do the next thing. And so, with that, if we do the next thing and we allow our passion to be reignited and the hope that comes in doing so, and feel like that we're getting some forward motion in our life, I think that it allows us to also have the perspective of our focus, in the sense of controlling our focus. And so I think that focus on what you can do today and then trust God with the rest. And so my encouragement to you guys is, as a woman of faith, that I will say that, it's so important to me to remember that hope doesn't mean having all the answers. And that's kind of hard for me because I like to know what is going, what's happening, what we doing. I've told y'all before, like, where we eating, where we stopping, what do I need to pack? If I'm going on a trip, details give me peace. And so I don't know if you rock out like I do on that, but the whole idea is that hope doesn't necessarily mean that we have all the answers. It means trusting that God is working even when we can't see it. And so, in thinking on that, I think about leading into hot take number 4. I'm all about some good old stories, that all good, feel good stories where it feels like you just, you want to give a good little, or that's awesome. Some stories of hope I thought I would give you. I work for a sports ministry, and so I'm surrounded by athletes and coaches day in and day out, and it's really a gift. And so I thought I'd share with you guys. One of our local high school girls basketball teams has inspired hope and a new admiration for girls basketball, y'all, as they made it to the Elite Eight 3 years ago, the Final Four last year, and then this year they made it to the state championship game. And so it's been so encouraging and inspiring to see all the goodness that they have brought into our community, to breathe hope and life, and just the joy of watching them do their thing, go out and shoot the hoops and to play well. They have been champions for Christ on the court and off the court, and it's been such a cool story to be able to see. So even though, unfortunately, they did not bring home the state championship title this year as the winners, I'm so grateful to share with you, though, that they boldly inspired our community to embrace their team slogan, which is made for more. The work ethic and the heart of this team has, y'all, it has absolutely inspired our community to have hope and a belief in such a new and joyous way. And they've gotten behind girls basketball again. It's been pretty awesome. And so it's also really been a joy to see all of the elementary age and middle school girls and guys of all ages too to be inspired by this team's success story. They have given everyone the gift of hope, both on and off the court. And then also thinking about the flip side story of we're going from sports to, another side of the spectrum of whenever it's even more challenging, though, to actually, instead of having inspirational hope as we hear about the basketball team, but to have hope in grief. Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I think that it's difficult to find hope when we lose someone that we love. When somebody that we love passes away, it's hard. And so leaving a loved one is such a profound loss. And my friend Freddie lost his beautiful wife of 32 years to cancer. But he fought hard, y'all, to hold on to hope through clinging to his faith. He discovered that even in pain, God's comfort and peace were constant. And his story has since inspired others to hold on to hope during loss, during their own personal losses. And his heart posture of holding on to hope has led him to finding love again and living his life to the fullest, even through such heartbreak and adversity. His hope and sheer will to survive has gifted him with a second chance of both love and life. And I don't know what you need to find hope in again. I really don't, but I'm guessing maybe there's something, or you wouldn't have probably tuned into this, or maybe you're just trying to be kind because you're trying to support this project that I'm trying to do on this podcast. I don't know, but when I stop and I think about the real reality is that maybe you need to find hope in something else again. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's your career. Maybe your wayward child. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your self-worth. Maybe it's even you need hope in trying to pass your college classes, right? If that's the age and stage of life that you're in currently, or maybe you're holding on to hope that your health improves as you are in your retirement years and you're hoping for a good doctor's visit next week. I know that we all have different circumstances. We are all at different ages and stages of life, and you may be searching for more hope in yourself. Maybe you're hoping to build your confidence, to pursue your passions, or whatever it is that you desire as a way of chasing change and self-growth. Or I know that maybe you just need to regain hope in humanity and society in general. Whatever it is, I do sincerely hope that you are encouraged, that you're challenged, and you're inspired to dare to hope as you do the next thing. And that leads me to hot take number 5, cultivating hope. So here are 3 ways that you can cultivate hope in your life. Number 1, I want to encourage you, practice gratitude. Take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're thankful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already good. Maybe find a song that inspires you to have a heart posture of gratitude. One that always does it for me is Gratitude by Brandon Lake. Or there's the good oldie, Lean On Me. It makes me grateful for the amazing people that I have in my life. Or if I'm in an 80s mood, y'all, I'm going to hit you with it. 3 words. Let's see if you say it with me. Don't stop believing. All right, air high five if you got it right as well, right? I don't know about y'all, but that chorus gets me in a good mood almost always. But fun fact, did you know that we don't hear that iconic chorus until the last 50 seconds of that 4-minute and 10-second song? Isn't that crazy? But it sticks with us the most out of the entire song, doesn't it? Maybe you're even singing it right now in your head. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. And you're welcome for me not singing it. Because, y'all, I do have me some good car concerts especially when my favorite jams come on. And luckily now with Spotify, I can choose what song that I want to hear when I want to hear it. And so it's like, bam, it's car concert time, right? But again, don't worry, because I know that singing on earth isn't a talent that I've been entrusted with, because I've told y'all before, I realize that I sound like a bullfrog going through puberty. So yes, I will spare you the torture. But what I will say is, what we allow our minds to repeatedly hear may very well stick with us. So, sweet friends, let's be careful and mindful of what we are feeding our thoughts. Gratitude is a gift, and again, I want to say that I truly believe it helps us shift our focus from what's lacking to what's already good. My next point I want to make on number 2 is visualize a hopeful future. Imagine what life could look like if things turned around. Hope starts with a vision of something better. Point number 3, pray and surrender. We got to pray to make it today, right? Pray and surrender. When you feel overwhelmed, bring your worries to God. Prayer is a powerful way to reconnect with the source of all hope. And I wish that guidance for you as well. And in saying all of this, it leads me to hot take number 6, hope as a lifestyle. One thing that I've learned over the years is that hope isn't just a feeling. It's a daily choice. And some days we have to make that choice more than once throughout the day, don't we? But hope isn't just a feeling. It's a daily choice. It's choosing to trust in God's goodness, even when life feels uncertain. As I started this episode, I shared that I struggled to know what to name this episode. And as you can see, the title I landed on is Cultivating Hope. And my heart truly does hope that you are able to do that more in your life. It is my hope that no matter what you're facing today, that you will remember that hope anchors your soul. It's not based on your circumstances, but on the unshakable love and promises of God. When you hold on to hope, you're holding on to the truth that better days are ahead, even in the darkest moments and the unknown next steps. Allow hope to remind you that the story isn't over. Your story isn't over, and brighter chapters are still to come. The way that I try to live this out daily is by picturing a car windshield and its rearview mirror. And so perhaps you've heard this metaphor before, and so in with stating the whole idea about the windshield is large, right? And it's larger than the rearview mirror, and so just thinking about the idea that the representation in this metaphor is that the windshield is large because what lies ahead is far greater than what's behind, allowing the windshield to represent the future, while the rearview mirror is small because the past isn't meant to hold our focus. I wish that this was a statement that someone would have told me many years ago. So you know what? I'm going to say it again. I hope that it'll soak in and sink in with you as it is with me as I was preparing this content. The past isn't meant to hold our focus. So even when things haven't gone our way, we can choose to look forward with hope, focusing on the goodness the future holds rather than dwelling on the tough moments behind us. And y'all, I know that nowadays we're talking about a car and the rearview mirror and the windshield and all that. I know that most of us have backup cameras in our vehicles now, and I just kind of have to chuckle inside and laugh and say that I know some of you may have never driven a car without a backup camera. But I'm hoping that you are picking up what I'm putting down, right, with this metaphor to make the point in saying that just as you can't drive a car by constantly looking in the rearview mirror, that you can't navigate life effectively and well balanced by fixating on the past. So, as I close out this episode, I'm going to leave you with some call to action points, or as we're calling them at this part of the podcast, Change Chasers Challenge. The C3 time, right? So C3 time, oh so fine. Here's your challenge for this week, though. Number 1, take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you need a little more hope. Then I challenge you to shift your focus, maybe pray, speak life over it, and take one small step forward in faith. And choosing to do this, you will position yourself to be a change chaser who gives hope to others. What a gift that is, too, right? To give hope to others. So, in addition to reflecting and shifting your focus, I challenge you to be one of my expressions, as my friends call them, Mandyisms. Y'all, let's go be a hope dealer. Hopefully, that's not offensive to you, but I actually have a t shirt and I enjoy wearing it because every time that I wear my Hope Dealer t shirt, I get to see smiles on people's faces because when they read it, they just immediately smile because it gives them the whole idea of something that's normally considered we'll just call it a negative connotation, that it's a little spin and a little twist on words that brings some positivity to somebody's day, right? And so the whole idea of getting to share our hope with someone else. My challenge to you, friends, is doing that because you don't even know that it might very well be exactly what they need to hear. What you have to say might be exactly what your friend needs to hear. And so in the last part of this C3 challenge, it's as simple as this. It's time to look ahead. So that's my last part of the challenge. And so again, sweet friends, I want to say thanks for listening. It's a gift to spend time with you. I know that your yes to this allowed me to be able to speak into your ear, hopefully your heart and your mind, that you had to say no to something else. And so I hope that you've drawn some hope from this episode, a good little play on words, I guess. But I want to reiterate to you that who you are and what you have to say matters. Thanks for sharing your light and your love and your hope and your kindness with others. If this episode encouraged you, then will you share it with a friend today who might need a little pick-me-up or a little bit of hope as well to get them through the day? Thanks for spending time with me today. I hope that this episode has inspired some hope in your heart, your mind, and your thoughts. As you're holding on to hope, I'm cheering you on as you focus on the future. And together, we remember that what lies ahead is far greater than what's behind. Until next time, I hope your week is filled with many blessings and surrounded by many hope dealers out there. And if you don't see one, then hey, sweet friends, why don't you go be one? Keep chasing change and living with purpose. Goodbye, sweet friends.